Rumors are starting to swirl that the long-awaited Citi Strata Elite card is going to release soon, possibly even as soon as tomorrow, July 20th. So people have been waiting for this new premium travel card to be released by Citi since they closed applications to their Prestige card all the way back in July 1st, 2021, so 4 years ago. This rumored announcement is yet another addition to the premium travel credit card lineup, with Chase announcing their new Sapphire Reserve recently and Capital One announcing changes to the lounge access to their flagship Venture X card a short time ago, and American Express announcing upcoming changes to the Platinum card later this year. It's very, very clear to me that these banks are frantically jockeying and trying to one-up each other and make sure that they gain control and have access to the affluent consumer base that typically holds these types of premium travel credit cards. So in today's video, we're going to go over all these rumors. We're going to go over all the details of the Citi Strata Elite card, and I'll give my take on whether I think that this card is worth getting excited over or whether Citi is about to announce an inferior version of the American Express Platinum card. But before we dive in, I want to thank everybody for their support of my channel. My last few videos have performed very well, and I've recently seen my subscriber count start to grow at a faster pace. So I really, really appreciate it. A lot of people commenting, engaging with the videos, and it's just been it's been really nice to see this type of support and kind of validation of the hard work that I do put in on these videos and take time out of my schedule to make these. So I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for watching. Without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so I've got here on the screen Danny, the Deal Guru. He writes a blog and posts about credit card news and posts different links and different when different bonuses are available. I think it's a good source. I've used him in the past and in this site to kind of get my news. It's often linked to on Reddit and other blogs, and so I feel like this is a decent source for this type of news and announcement. This is also being reported by Doctor of Credit, Frequent Miler, different news outlets. This is starting to pick up steam. And you know, in other types of fields in different areas, when things are announced or rumors come out, I don't think they've got as much validity as they do when these types of credit card news and rumors about new cards come out. We've seen time and time again, most recently with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, that the rumors and the alleged details of the card that are kind of leaked a little while before the actual announcement, that those do in fact tend to come true in the credit card space, and like I said, as recently as the Sapphire Reserve. So I just want to preface that and provide that context. If you're new to the credit card game or you're new to points and miles and you're like, why is somebody even making a video and making a big fuss, and Citi hasn't announced it themselves or provided these details on their official site, that's why, is because I feel 90% confident that most, if not all, of the details that we're about to talk about here are going to come to fruition this weekend or very, very soon here. So just wanted to preface that. Let's dive in. All right. So first off, Citi Strata Elite card to launch Sunday with an 80,000 thank you point bonus and a $595 annual fee. They provide a little bit more context here. Have $595 annual fee. And if you have Citi Gold, you'll get a $145 discount on the annual fee plus a better welcome bonus of 100,000 thank you points. So what Citi Gold is, I believe you need to have $200,000 in assets with Citi under their management in order to qualify for Citi Gold. So with those assets, you get a $145 discount on the annual fee and an additional 20,000 thank you points on top of that bonus. So initial thoughts there. Not a ton of people probably have Citi Gold naturally, and if you do have Citi Gold, you're probably not super worried about an annual fee, and you're just gonna get this card because you want to get it. And so I have a feeling that a lot of the viewers of my video and me myself, I don't have Citi Gold, so I'm just gonna completely ignore the 100,000 point bonus and the $145 discount for the purposes of this video. So right off the bat, 80,000 bonus points as a launch offer. That's not good in my opinion. We are seeing American Express for their Platinum card, for example, regularly have 175,000 membership reward points on a sign up bonus. Chase Sapphire Reserve just came out with $100K plus $500 travel credit through their portal. The Venture X has often had at least 90,000 points as a welcome offer in the past. So 80,000 points is a very lackluster sign-up bonus, in my opinion. I think that is very disappointing. So right off the bat, those are my thoughts on the sign-up bonus. $595 annual fee, in line with what you would expect for a higher annual fee card at this time. I believe the Sapphire Reserve is $795. The current American Express Platinum is $695, rumored to go upwards of $800, $900, $1,000 here later this year. So $600, $595 is right in line with what I would expect from this new Citi Strata Elite card. Moving on down, the authorized users, $75 or $95. That doesn't, I believe the Citi Prestige card, the previous iteration, had $75 authorized users. So it'd be very surprising to me if it came out as $75. Things go up over time. 4 years is a long time. A lot of inflation in the last 4 years. 95 sounds more accurate, but as we'll go through the details here, I don't see where what benefits you get from that, having that authorized user. Do they have access to some of the perks that we go over? It's not clear, unless they've got access to some of the passes that we'll talk about here in a moment, to lounges and so on and so forth. Why would you even pay for an authorized user? This is just a side tangent and a tip that I use. I am not a big authorized user person. The only time that I think it would make sense is if you wanted to get your wife or your significant other into, let's say, a Chase Sapphire lounge when they're not traveling with you. However, those situations don't come up a ton for my family. We're not doing a ton of solo trips where one of us would need it without the other. So I think paying a high annual fee for an authorized user doesn't make a ton of sense, and you can add your non-authorized user card, so your main account card. Typically, a lot of these issuers will let you add that right into a different Apple Pay account and still maintain it in your Apple Pay account. So, for example, my wife has most, if not all, of my cards on her Apple Pay card, and she just uses them so she can get the multipliers and everybody takes Apple Pay. So that's just a side tangent there. So authorized user cards are stupid a lot of the time, in my opinion. I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but that is my take. We already talked about the $145 annual fee discount with Citi Gold. And why that is not particularly exciting. Again, if you are somebody who has $200K with Citi under their asset management, you're probably also the same type of person who's not going to notice or care too much about a $145 annual fee discount. Although I don't want to trash it too much. A discount is a discount. If you're one of these people that qualifies, more power to you, but you're probably not watching this type of video. You're probably just spending and just, not worrying about annual fees. 12x on hotels, car rentals, and attractions booked through Citi Travel. I mean, 12x is an attractive rate. However, I have heard through lots of different Reddit posts and things that I've read and people that I trust and sources that who have used Citi Travel and researched them extensively to take advantage of, I believe, the Strata, the regular Strata Premier has a $100 hotel credit per year. Lots of people anecdotally telling their stories about how they're trying to use that credit throughout the time, and they've consistently seen higher inflated prices through Citi Strata, through Citi Travel portal, compared to the Capital One portal, compared to the Chase Travel portal, compared to some of the other options out there. So that 12x doesn't excite me, because I have the suspicion and I suspect that the prices are going to be inflated anyway. So you're not going to, 12x is still 12x, but I'm not as excited about it. If 12x were being announced on the Capital One Venture X for their travel portal, then my ears would start to perk up, because the Capital One travel portal is often cited, in my experience too, as a Venture X card holder can confirm this, when price comparing. The Capital One portal tends to have very favorable pricing in closer to direct compared to other travel portals. So 12x first off the rip, not super exciting based on the context that I just gave. 6x on air travel booked through Citi Travel, again, for the same reasons I just cited above, not exciting. 6x at restaurants on Citi Nights, which is every Friday and Saturday from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Eastern Time. It doesn't say Eastern Time here, but I've read elsewhere that is Eastern Time. So I've heard some mostly poor things about this 6x on restaurants during this time. If this is truly any restaurant anywhere Friday and Saturday from this time period, and it's not through some kind of dining portal or something that's unique to a certain type of restaurants only in big cities, 6x that excites me a little bit. So I haven't heard great things on that from kind of the people that have made similar types of videos. But that kind of gets my attention a little bit. 6x is quite a bit. So If I were to have this card, I would definitely, I eat out on Friday and Saturday nights quite often with my family. That's just our regular habits of going out to eat. So that would be, 6x is a lot. But I will preface that with saying that, like, for example, like, the Resi platform to take advantage of the American Express Gold credit there, you have to book through Resi for the new Chase Sapphire Reserve for the Sapphire tables to use their dining credit. It's got to be booked through the portal. Built has their own type of restaurant portal that earns elevated earnings, but only through certain types of restaurants and, mostly in big cities. If that's the case with this and City Nights is through a portal, then this is an absolute dud and just a benefit that's going to fall flat on its face. So we'll find out tomorrow, hopefully, whether it is very broad. If it's broad, great. If it's not, terrible. And then 3x at restaurants any other time. You get that on the Citi Strata Premier card right now, and I believe the new Citi Strata, just the regular Strata card that recently got announced, I believe that's going to have 3x restaurants as well, so that's not exciting at all. 1.5x on all other purchases. I am not excited about that at all. I think that is a kind of I don't want to go as far as saying that that's like a slap in the face benefit, but it is just a crap benefit in my opinion. Because Citi also issues the double cash that earns 2x thank you points on all purchases. So it would absolutely make zero sense to me for anybody not to pair the Citi Strata Elite card with the Citi double cash, in which case they did, assuming that you can move your points earned on the Citi double cash over to the Citi Strata Elite, which you currently can with the current iterations of the Strata Premier and the Citi Double Cash. That is an ability. So assuming that stays, then this 1.5x on all other purchases would be absolutely useless, pointless, completely moot, dumb. I think that what they're probably trying to do is to be able to market this as a one-card solution. So in that light, if you're not somebody who has multiple credit cards or wants multiple credit cards, if you're in that kind of, you've got a 200K portfolio with Citigold, you're, a relatively upper middle class or upper class person, and you're trying to decide what premium travel credit card, you just want one card, this might make sense. This could be a little bit of a calling card because the Chase Sapphire Reserve, 1x on everything else. That's non-bonus spend. The American Express Platinum card gets 1x on non-bonus spend. However, the Venture X gets 2x on everything. So that's still a awesome card. But anyways, not excited about that. The only thing that would make this exciting for me is if the Citi Strata Elite card comes out with the ability to transfer thank you points to American Airlines, and that you could only transfer the points earned through this card to American Airlines, and you couldn't combine thank you points earned on the double cash in order to make those transfers. I think that is a possibility down the line. That is the only time that makes sense, because there currently is not a way to earn 1.5 more than one American Airline mile per dollar spent on the current lineup of American Airline cards. It's not a transfer partner to any other bank. So if that were the case, that very, very specific use case that doesn't look like it's going to be the case, then that would be something that would be interesting to me, to be able to earn 1.5x on all of the purchases for American Airlines miles. Very long-winded way of saying so. A lot of information there. So first grouping of benefits on the spending multipliers, just to give a recap, it's very clear and obvious that all of these issuers are really trying to push spend and their customers through their respective travel portals. So Chase obviously is announcing different bonuses and benefits to shop through their and to buy travel through their portals. Capital One, has their portal credit. American Express less so, but they've got that fine hotels and resorts credit to be booked through their portal for the Platinum card. And I just think that it's very obvious that, of course, you want to keep everything within the family and keep all the spend in one place and be able to kind of house that, because you're going to get the best rates and the best return on your investment when people are spending through your own portal. But I think kind of the unsung and less talked about thing around this is that these banks want not only the spend to stay within the family, like I just said, but the data collection that they're going to be able to do to kind of get the full all-inclusive picture of their customer spends through dining and travel, all being housed within a portal, to have that data, especially with the rise of AI now, to be able to comb through and make sense of that data more easily is extremely valuable to these banks. So I think that is the kind of the main reason behind that, to be able to, I don't know if I want to use the direct term of sell that data, but in order to be able to market real time to their consumers in a more targeted way by combing through that data, or maybe selling that data to partners, or being able to get more favorable deals with potential partners because they have access to the data and they can show those potential partners, hey, we've got the customer that you want. Here is how we're going to target them. Or, there's that data collection in it purposes is a really big deal. That's not talked about enough, in my opinion. All right, so moving on, Priority Pass Select membership. That is, for me personally, means nothing because I've got a ton. I'm a credit card person, and I've got a million credit cards that got a Priority Pass Select membership. So this would, if I were to get this card, this would absolutely be a zero value to me. Priority Pass lounges can be okay, but they're this means nothing to me. $300 annual hotel benefit every year. So enjoy $300 off a hotel stay of 2 nights or more booked through Citi Travel. Again, keeping it within the family, keeping it within Citi Travel. We talked about above how Citi Travel tends to have very elevated pricing, so I wouldn't value that at more than 70% value there. Fine, whatever. It brings down the annual fee. Of course, if I had this card, I would use it. Up to a $200 annual splurge credit on eligible brands. That first sentence, without reading any further, just smells a lot like Chase's The Shops credit. If you spend $75,000, you get a whatever $250 The Shops credit. So this is, it's got following brands: First Dibs, never heard of that in my entire life. American Airlines, obviously heard of that. That would, could be interesting to be able to spend $200, but right there, a nice little convenient bracket says exclusions apply. So probably the things that you don't want to spend on, it's probably less favorable to the consumer, but we'll go ahead and give it that. American Airlines, great partner. Best Buy, that is a good partner as well, in my opinion. Can't argue that. I do spend money on electronics throughout the year, so I could figure out a way to use that, but then future personal training in Live Nation. So Live Nation, that's, in my opinion, I guess it's not even an opinion, it's just a fact. It's in direct competition with the Chase Sapphire Reserve's recent announcement of their StubHub credit. So that's interesting to get some Live Nation, although I have heard anecdotally, again, that Live Nation is one of the worst out of Ticketmaster, StubHub. Live Nation, they're typically rated as the worst from my kind of knowledge. So that's fine. And then personal training, I don't care about that at all. American Airlines Admirals Club access for annual passes. This is a nice benefit. That is, there's nothing bad that I can say about it. I currently hold the Citi Executive American Airlines Elite card, which gives me unlimited access to the Admirals Club. So that wouldn't be anything that I'd be interested in. But if this card was out before I applied for that to get that Admirals Club access, I would think twice about whether this offer made sense. So the 4 annual passes are interesting to me. The one caveat that I'll put there is that if you can't if you purchase I believe it's $79 to purchase an Admirals Club 1-day pass, that 1-day pass comes with the ability to bring in a guest. However, if these access passes through the Citi Strata Elite do not have that ability to bring in a guest, that seriously waters down their value, in my opinion. So need that ability to bring in the passes. Otherwise, this is going to make sense for a business traveler who's by themselves. But if you got a family, so I'm very, very interested to see what the guest access is on those passes before I give my final kind of opinion on that. Strata Lounge access, if these lounges actually get built, that's nothing, because there are 0 Strata lounges period now, and there's none that have been announced to my knowledge. Maybe they'll announce, hey, we're building one in Philadelphia, along with the announcement of the card. I'll eat my words if that's the case, but this is a absolute nothing thing for me until there's an actual announcement or tangible lounge plans starting up. So we're going to skip over that. $120 global entry pre-check. That, again, I've got a ton of credit cards that offer that, so it means nothing to me. But if you're just an average person, sure, you want at minimum priority pass and global entry TSA pre-check coverage on your premium travel credit cards. So fine. All right, $200 Black Lane credit every year. Ride in style with up to $200 in statement credits towards the chauffeur's service with Black Lane. Earn up to $100. Of course, it's broken up into half and half. $100 in the first half of the year, second half of the year, another $100. It's getting ridiculous. And so I've read one story of a person when this card, these rumors kind of came out a couple days ago. I was reading about them, and somebody replied back to the post saying, my company paid for Black Lane for me to pick me up for a work trip, and it was nice or whatever, but the Uber was like $20 from the airport, and the Black Lane was like $150. So whatever. This is really stupid. I'd rather just probably have an Uber personally, and I'm sure the prices are super inflated. It's probably not available in every city. I would value this at a much water, especially since you have to break it up into half and half. If somebody said, how much would you pay me for this exact coupon that's broken up half and half? How much would you pay me cash? I would probably pay that person $25. So that's what I would value it at. Seriously, I'm not just being annoying or trying to be negative or anything. That's just a really not an exciting benefit. The card will likely be in the first top tier World Legend Mastercard. So Citi Strata Elite World Legend Mastercard. That's a mouthful and a ridiculous name. But so for those who don't know, there are different tiers of Visas and MasterCards. So, for example, Visa has just a regular Visa card. Then they've got a Visa Signature card, which is kind of a mid-tier card. Then their Visa's top tier is the Visa Infinite card. So the top tier card comes with different types of protections and different access to travel concierges that I don't think are super interesting myself, but there are some benefits to having that Visa Infinite card in terms of protections, insurance, and different benefits that come along with that. You can often match to rental car programs with having that type of status and different things like that. So currently, MasterCard does not have a competitor to the Visa Infinite top tier line. So that's what this would be, presumably. So the World Legend MasterCard would, so right now the MasterCard has just a regular MasterCard. Then there are MasterCard World Elite cards, which get you certain types of benefits. It's more analogous to the Visa Signature line. So this would compete directly with the Visa Infinite line. I'd be interested to see what those World Legend benefits are. I wouldn't hold my breath that they're kind of game-changing benefits, but it is possible that they come out of the gate with trying to get excitement for this new program and offering kind of limited 1 to 2 year benefits free Uber One or whatever the case may be. So my eye will be on it to see what it is, but I just want to kind of explain that to people. So that's interesting a little bit. And then transfers to American Airlines in quotation, in parentheses, not at first, but that should be coming later later in the year via a separate project. So this is what would make or break the card, in my opinion, for somebody like me who wants to use points and miles for outsized value. Currently, American Airlines, you cannot transfer them, like I mentioned earlier in the video, from any bank or credit card rewards program. You can't transfer to American Airlines. So if that were to be the case and they were to transfer at a 1-to-1 ratio to American Airlines, a lot of the negative things that we just got through on this list would wash away for me. That having that ability to that would be huge. So I want to kind of I'm taking this information with a grain of salt, however, because I think that there is a non-zero chance that if transfers are announced, that they will not be at a 1-to-1 ratio. I would expect kind of like a maybe a 20% less favorable transfer ratio. If I had to kind of put my money on it, I don't know that it would be a 1-to-1. If it is 1-to-1, I would even further be skeptical in thinking that you wouldn't be able to combine points earned on, let's say, the Citi Custom Cash, where you get 5x on some different categories, or the Citi Double Cash, like we talked about earlier, 2x. I would be hesitant to think that those points would combine to the Citi Strata Elite and be able to be transferred to American Airlines. I don't think that's going to be the case. If it is the case, that you can, that would really launch up the value of this card, in my opinion, if you're able to combine all the thank you points earned from other credit cards, like I just mentioned, the Custom Cash and the Double Cash, for example, over to this and then transfer to American Airlines. That would be a huge deal. And that would be that's again, that is really make or break for this card. So as somebody who's got a lot of American Airlines miles in the bank and somebody who's got the Citi AA Executive Elite card, am I super excited about my miles getting watered down due to transfers from Thank You Point? No. But do I think it would be a kill shot to the value of American Airlines? No. I still think if this were the case and there were more American Airlines miles in the ether in the total pool, obviously that would devalue it, but it wouldn't devalue it to kind of a point where it's no longer valuable. So that is the last bullet point here. So I think my overall takeaway for this card is as currently constituted by all the fees and options and bonuses and multipliers and credits that we just went over. I would give that a rating or a grade of like a C minus. In that, if American Airlines, like we just talked about, American Airlines one-to-one transfer partner, no limitations on combining points. Those Admirals Clubs passes are you can take guests in. If kind of the best version of this card comes to fruition, then I would kind of move this up maybe to like a B plus tier, because so that maybe C minus to D plus tier to a B plus to an A minus is kind of how this is teetering on kind of the American Airlines incorporation with this card. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you plan on picking this up? Is this card something that's exciting to you? Be interested to hear your take. If you enjoyed this content, if you enjoyed this video, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate that support to continue to help this channel grow. That would be greatly appreciated. If you want to further support the channel, I do have referral links to a lot of the credit cards that we talked about throughout this video down in the pinned comment below and in the description. If you sign up through one of those links to one of the cards and I get a referral bonus, that would be greatly appreciated. And I always very much appreciate that support in that way too. So with that said, thank you for watching. Thanks for making it to the end. Till next time.